Welcome, Commanders, to the Burny's Briefing Room Resurrection. War Commander's new executive producer will be joining us on the show today to talk about the state of the game, as well as giving us a look into what 2019 might hold for us all. Before we bring him out, though, I wanted to remind everyone how important it is to secure your account. Drake and I have been receiving lots of compromised account complaints lately on Discord and through our ticketing system. So please remember that you should never share your account information with anyone, even a close friend or family member. If you do share your account information, or if you have in the past, we highly recommend that you change your password, both on Kixeye.com and on Facebook. And if you use the same password for different logins online, like say for your email or other accounts that you have in different places, we recommend changing those passwords too, just to be safe. And if your account has been compromised recently or in the past, and you need to contact customer support, the way you go about doing that is by creating a new War Commander account and submitting a ticket that way. All new War Commander accounts can send tickets for free for 1 month before the $50 threshold kicks in. All right, so now without further ado, please help me welcome War Commander's executive producer, Light Touch. Glad to have you on the podcast today. How's it going?
Hey, dude, it's going very well, and I'm very excited to be part of Burny's briefing room. I look
Thanks.
forward to the conversation we get to hold.
Yeah, we're glad to have you on. So can you give the people listening, a bit of background to your experience on the War Commander team?
Yeah, man. I was hired just over a year ago onto the War Commander team, and I was originally hired on as the Quality Assurance team lead. Then many of you know Golden Doodle. When I took over as the executive producer, I was promoted around the same time to the project manager role, and that was a position I held for about 9 to 10 months. And as always, because the people that work here are so amazing, and Golden Doodle is such a smart cat, he was needed elsewhere in the company. I was able to do more within the game, and in time, it allowed me to grow into the position that I now hold, which is, as you had mentioned, the executive producer of War Commander Browser. So for me personally, it's been a very exciting year, and I look forward to leading the gang in 2019.
So what role is Golden Doodle in right now?
Golden Doodle is currently the senior director of product within our company. All that really means is that the core games of Kixeye, so Vega Conflict, Battle Pirates, and your very own War Commander Browser, all fall under his umbrella. He works hand in hand with guys like myself and the other game leads to help determine strategic direction, and it helps us ensure that we are creating the best possible experience for our gaming community.
I gotcha. So that's why he hasn't been showing up on Discord lately.
He's mostly been pursuing some of the other games to help them out a little more than us, since we have a fairly healthy community and a very healthy game. And yeah.
Awesome. So basically for this podcast, I kind of just want to take a look back, over the past year in War Commander and kind of go through some things that we learned. Can you kind of give us your top takeaways from 2018?
Yeah, sure. 2018 was actually a very good year for the War Commander browser and its team. We did a lot of really good things, which resonated well with the community. But we also did a bunch of bad things, which you guys being the community, were very loud about. So we've had to go back to the drawing board and pivot and come up with better ideas. But I'd say to your question, the biggest takeaway that we learned from 2018 was that listening to our player base was a good thing. War Commander team itself had the big wins that we did in 2018. It wasn't because we alone are super good at what we do. It's because our players actively reached out to us and we were able to actually have a dialogue with them. Many of our team members got involved in the forums, the focus groups, and on Discord, which we hadn't really done in the past or hadn't done very well. And it gave our audience, our player base, the chance to engage with us directly, which they have. I know myself, I get pinged on the side all the time on Discord about questions, concerns, and comments. I know that, we've got a lot of people out there like Friendly Fixer and those very smart cats, which you guys in the community are actively engaging with. Because of this, we can create a better experience for players in our community, and this is definitely something we plan on continuing this year. So our players care greatly for the game, and so do we.
Have those experiences, from 2018 helped shape your decision-making process for 2019?
Yeah, so as I allude to in the last question, above all else, we need to keep our players in mind when making these decisions. It doesn't matter if we create like the best frickin' unit that destroys everything out on the field, or this building that can stand up to all the punishment in the world, because we think it's an excellent counter to something in the game. If the players don't like it and don't adopt it, we, as the Kixeye team, have failed them. Our quality assurance team specifically has been tasked with the mandate that yes, what we're making needs to be as bug free as we can make it, but it also needs to be fun. I guess what I am trying to say is that our decisions will center on whether what we are creating is fun and helps continue and build on the game story.
So why don't we get more into the specifics a little bit? So the team has been working on the 69ing issue for some time now, and that's been kind of one of the top uh, topics of conversation among the community. So can you kind of give us an update on the progress of that so far, and what you expect to see in the near future?
Yeah, well, man, 69ing. This issue itself has been a very tough nut to crack. If you remember a few months ago, I think it was October, we pushed out a potential fix for our PvP woes by capturing the number of specific PvP hits, or by capping the number of specific PvP hits per week. We thought we understood how often players hit each other over the course of each week, and we found that in some cases, players wanted to repeatedly hit each other far more than our imposed cap would allow, which essentially meant we were getting in the way of like normal organic combat. The community outcry, as I had mentioned, was loud and clear that they did not like the idea of these caps we were looking at imposing, and so we chose to go back to the drawing board. The hard part is that we are looking for a nuanced solution rather than a wholesale change that forces a specific behavior onto our players. In essence, we don't want to ruin the PvP experience and turn our players against us, so we feel it's much healthier to discourage behavior that some people feel is wrong rather than just slamming barriers into normal gameplay. At present, we are still trying to find that solution. At the end of the day, we are trying to change the conditions that make people want to 69, so that we are currently looking at modifying the incentive structure and not rewarding the use of base turtling. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that solution will come out in time, but it's got to be slow and iterative process, and one we will obviously message loudly and widely with the community as we come up with these good ideas.
Cool. Um, so when you're making decisions like that, those tough ones, for example, the you just mentioned with the hit timer for each week, kind of what's the decision making process look like between you and the team?
Well, when it came to 69ing specifically, we actually had to do a deep dive into what the player's behavior was. So we had our analytics guy look at, how many people were being hit. We had a lot of roundtable and like a lot of whiteboard discussions on, what is 69ing, what is causing it, what is the reason behind people are doing these types of things, and what is it we can do to sort of nudge people away from wanting to do that behavior. So the way to do that, we have to not support a behavior of 69ing, and we need to encourage a behavior that is anti 69ing. I know that is a lot of ethereal hand waving, but a lot, yeah, but a lot of work goes into it, and we still haven't, really cracked the code on it yet to the point where we're happy and something with an idea or a concept that we are happy to release to the community yet.
So in 2018, we saw the rise of Holdout and kind of the fall of Invasion, on the side last year. What went into that decision? And were you happy with the result with that? And do you think Invasion will make a comeback in 2019?
Hmm. Yeah, by and large, the team is very happy with Holdout in comparison to Invasion. As we came to a close in 2017, we had noticed that very few players were actively engaged in just pure defensive type content. And in our minds, defensive play was still a pretty sweet ass game mode. And we had to ask ourselves, well, what the heck is it that people didn't like about it? So, two main ideas surfaced when we were sitting around thinking about it. And the first is that we thought people didn't like that because they couldn't engage in defensive specific featured gameplay with all the fun toys and heroes that they owned. And the second idea that surfaced was once a player builds up their base with like bunkers and turrets and walls, the defensive content just becomes dry and repetitive and basically a very grindy process. So we tasked our design team to put their heads together to find a better way to allow to allow offensive units to be used in a defensive manner, and thus Holdout was born. This gives players the ability to deal with new challenges and puzzles. And I would just say that Invasion itself is not dead. There are just no immediate plans to bring it back into rotation in the near future.
Gotcha. Do you know if there's any plans to add kind of holdout type bases to our monthly events or anything like that?
Oh, that is actually a very interesting concept, and one we won't rule out right away. In the coming months, we're actually going to see if we can play with a little bit of the event structure itself, and we wanted to try to introduce a little bit of a PvP feel to it. I won't go into the specifics because we are still working out the details, but we are going to play a little bit with how we are presenting the event, and we're going to test it out over a couple of events. I will not rule out the fact that holdout style gameplay is something we will or will not put into an event, but definitely will be something we think about.
Awesome. One thing that's likely going to be a hot topic for 2019 is, Flash dying off. Can you kind of give us an update into the current plan for that, and how you see that playing out?
Yeah, man. For starters, I just want to be clear that it's not Flash itself that is dying off in 2020. It's that the support of Flash is ending in 2020.
Mm.
We are planning on porting over to HTML5. Unfortunately, it is an extremely complex problem, but one we have been working on for some time. We plan to be completed the port to HTML5 well in advance of Flash support ending in early 2020. And the big takeaway is that it is an extremely specialized work, and there are only actually a few people actually capable of doing this task, so it's not something we can just do overnight.
Mm. So I know you're a very busy man, and we're running out of time. But what are you most excited for in 2019 for War Commander?
Oh boy, 2019. We have a very ambitious year ahead of us in War Commander browser. We have our eyes set on growth, by which we mean more players, and we hope to reach out to the players who have left the fight and try to engage new commanders. HTML5 port obviously is looking promising to deliver performance improvements in many ways. Frame rates will go up, loading will be faster, crashes will go down, controls can be more responsive. We have new features and gameplay modes in development as we speak. We're putting a renewed focus on bug fixes and improving quality of life for the players. It may not look like it just yet, but we're looking at ways to decrease the grind and improve the fun. While all of this is happening, we're going to try to make more frequent developer blog posts to explain our progress and reasoning at large because we think clarity to our greater audience is nothing but a good thing. This is starting with the blog post about, I think we're going to start off with a blog post revolving around healthy PvP play.
Mm.
And we hope that in doing this, the community can hold us accountable and we can get thoughtful feedback on our ideas. The big thing is the community needs to be involved. It's their game as much as our game. So we want to be as clear with what our plans are as we can. So that way we are not going down a rabbit hole too far and committing to something the players will hate. So if we can share our ideas early and often, we'll get a good temperature for what the community at large wants to be doing. And just before we wrap up, I'd like to ask something of you all out there in the community. If any of what you've heard today sounds exciting, make sure you tell your friends. And if you're thinking of leaving the game, please reach out to Burny. Tell him or his team what it is you don't like. Even if you're not about to quit, reach out to Burny and tell him what it is you don't like or what you do like. Because us doing better makes a better game for everybody. So by people speaking up, we can actually make a better gaming experience for everyone around us.
Awesome. Thanks, Light Touch. I look forward to watching my Discord PMs blow up.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you joining me on the Resurrection show for Bernie's Briefing Room, and I hope to be doing more of these in the future again. So we have that to look forward to.
Yeah, man. And if you want me to come back for many more of these short little question answer sessions, I'm more than happy to make time for it.
Yeah, I think maybe next time we'll pull some questions straight from the community and we can just go through those. It'd be great.
Oh, yeah. I think that'd be a swell idea.
Yeah, maybe we can get Friendly Fixer and Storm Chaser in here as well.
Oh, that'd be a banging idea, my friend.
All right. Well, I'll let you go and I'll do the sign off. So thanks everyone for listening, and yeah, like Light Touch said, if you're having any issues in the game or you just want to let me know about something that you don't like, just feel free to reach out to me on Discord, and I'll make sure to raise it to the game team in the future. So thanks everyone. We hope you have an awesome day in the sector.